Okay. First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. Reality is so reality is so circumvented in so many ways. Perps come in all shape and form. And for me, there's been like this ways of trying to reconstruct reality in such a like illogical way. It's like, well, it's so easy for me to put reality in these people's face. And of course, I enjoy doing that. I truly enjoy that. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing somebody who is doing everything possible to make you accepting of something that's so obviously falsified. It is so amazing to get that feeling. I'm telling you, it makes me feel so dignified, but also it provokes them, and so I know what's going to happen to me is going to be horrible. For me, I know where my target is starting. I've been saying that in my first videos. I've been clear about that. But somehow, they've been always trying to kind of create a different narrations. And it's so funny to see these people try to paint a version of reality in this fashion and so obviously brokeable. This video was made in August 20, right? 2020. If you go back, you can find a video of that time period. This is one of my first few videos. I think the first video was in July. And my videos then were a little bit more detailed. I wrote on my videos, and I clearly mentioned here that my targeting started after I started working for this company based in that location. Right? The reason why people are trying to disorient that reality is because these people I used to work for, who are responsible for me being here, let's just say they have these tendencies of going things in a, they've changed this country in so many crazy ways, and they left their mark, and they also have these controversial ways of donating money. I mean, today, these people are so influential that today, their donations impacted the ability to get an abortion in Texas. I love to say that because today I have coworkers that perhaps live around that area or that are planning to move around that area, but they play this strong feminist that is their money, they did this, they're investigating. There's this disgusting facade because the reality of what these people do is so nasty. Everybody enjoys when they get involved in this. It's obvious that there's an incentives that's enjoyable here. And also the fact that you involve yourself in technology with the ability to do so much damage and do so much to human beings is ridiculous. So they create this fantasized reality of what this thing is, when it's clearly obvious what this is about. It's clearly obvious that they're using human subjects as test subjects, and who's they is obviously this Department of Defense. They've been working on technology like that for decades. The directed energies, the technology that can alter your mind, they've been working on that literally since the 60s and before. It's clear where it's coming from. It doesn't take much. I know it's not this next door neighbor retards that are going to frame me. I know this my coworkers there here. They can't even say the name. Like, listen, there's somebody here. I love to say his name. It's just like a check, like just reality check. Hey, say that man's name. For example, Roy Moore. The way they are nervous to say his name, or when they say his name, they've mystified somebody who's allegedly or was allegedly picking up kids as young as 14 years old when he was an assistant DA. He was banned from the YMCA because he was picking up kids. Here, you know what they do to try to counter that? It's like, we're going to ban you. They're going to frame me. Because the reality is, they can't say the name of a man who literally actually did this. To now, they have their children, which that just shows the trashiness. I love to call that out. Just the magicalness of it, all the trashiness of it all. And they try to be so fierce about it. It's just like, this is like biblical type of things. And, they're talking to somebody who loves to bring that up. But they're going to utilize their children to frame me, right? Or they have utilized me, their children, to frame me. And they can't even say the name of a man who allegedly was picking up kids as young as 14. This is so amazing. I don't know if this is the signs in. I've never seen so many signs. I don't know if you're It doesn't matter if you're religion, but I mean, this is just too scary. That this is the reality they live in. That they have to find ways to say Roy Moore, but in the midst of that, they are using their own children to frame me. And they're like, we're gonna ban you. I was like, okay, well, you're gonna use your children to frame me. Well, you can't even say Roy Moore to ban me. This is amazing. Now, I know these people are trash. That's the thing. I've understood what this program is about. They're supposed to do disgusting things to people. They torture babies, women, cause mass shooting. They do the files of the files. So I don't expect nothing but trash. But with me, they still try to be seen as some people. I should look at them as like they're normal. No, what's you involved in this is done. You did that now. I'm not going to let you normalize what you're involved in. And I'm not going to let you live your fantasy that, oh, this is a group of feminists. I'm like, you really? Okay. Go get an abortion in Texas, please. Or have a friend that if... That's how much of a feminism it is. Destroy that reality. So what they're going to do, they're going to destroy me even more. Because I bring that in their faces. I make sure I say that as much as... And so like they find excitement in my torture. Oh, now you're going to pay our rage. The rage of putting reality in our faces. We didn't want to see that. We didn't want to know that. I was like, well, okay, well, I'm sorry. You're going to know reality. You're going to be enjoy what you're doing to me. Living within the reality you're in. Never fantasizing. I'm sorry. You're going to hear everything you do to men, women, and children. Because once you're involved in this, that's what they do. When I live outside, I know that this woman that you guys push to live outside, kill themselves, tortured to death, destroyed, and then play the feminist, play this femme fatale. Oh God. And on top of that, these people have zero responsibility in what's happening to me, really. Now, the way things can go, the theatrical, the doubts it's like, okay, how are you going to kill the dead man? That's the kind of, that's all they have. That's all I can give to them. Oh, you see that man that's already set to death? Oh, you choose how he's going to die. I'm a dead man. I'm a dying man to the social person I used to work for that company. The rest, how they want to go with this? Okay, it's like, oh wow, it's your here. It's your world. It's like children, they give choice. It's like, okay, yeah, it's your world. And at that point, you do whatever, but you better know the rules. Know what to say, not to say, how to say it. And do your job. I will never let them live their fantasy as I'm slowly decaying away. I know who I have to think about for the responsibility of what's happened to me. Of course, I know the Department of Defense obviously is doing that to so many of us. But how I ended up being here is because these people here, you see here, put me in this program. These people in my video, I even talk about it in the same video. I said these people have connections in every places in the government. There's people from the CIA that was having lunch and learn at the company I used to work for. Vice presidents will come to that company. Presidents. It's beyond clear who is responsible. Beyond. They made it. I was there. I remember one of the vice presidents, the person who he's about to have a face for it, for the responsibility of my death is him. He looked at me. I remember looking at me. And he's like, "Hey, enjoy your last meal." And I was like, he's up to something. He's saying these things. All along, they would just send me up to be put in his program. They try to disorientate me in different ways. No, it's not them. It's obviously them. And it's clear. You know exactly when things starts. As soon as I start working there, first of all, I know it's not a good fit. I should have gone with my guts. The second I got there, I was like, ooh, I don't even like the feeling I feel when I'm here. I think they thought I was going to leave immediately, and they didn't even want me there. It was forced onto them. But somebody who's the higher up, she's like, okay, we need somebody there. They've been waiting for a while. Okay, let's pick him. My direct managers and everybody, all of them didn't want me there. And then I get in there, I rub them on the wrong way. Oh, with this, oh my gosh, it was done. I know immediately these people, with no doubt, are responsible for what's happening to me. I remember the face of this man looking at me like he was up to something bad. When he was up, excited or not excited, I was like, all along they were just pushing me in this. Now, today, first they try to recreate who put me in this program. They try to say, no, immigrations, and no, they didn't do that. My life was so good until, not so good, my life is normal. I was living the regular life. There was ups and downs of regular life. Then I start working there. Oh! And then things slowly, and you know when things changes around you. And it's not just direct, immediately. You feel some kind of like weird reaction from people that you usually talk to. All of a sudden they act certain ways. All of a sudden everybody's acting in weird fashions. All of a sudden people just like act weird. Your close friends. When not too long ago it was all good, everything, everybody, all your. So you know when things changes. And for me, they changed the second I started working there in 2014. In 2014, that's when things changed for me. In my brain, they tried to be like, oh, you see, that's fake. Because when you're 13, 14, Jesus, they retarded. In my, but when I started working there, oh God, oh my God, my brain. I honestly think I'm being mentally retarded. Sorry for the language. They're like, oh, because we did that on purpose. Because when you're 13, 14, that's when. I'm sorry. The way I'm being forced to think, they try to mystify reality here. No, I started working for these people in 2014 or so, right? 13, 14. And so they're like, oh, you see, just like when you were a kid, what you did when you're 13, 14, this is now your pay. By the way, that's when around the same time there was a mass shooting. I don't know if it's Myron May or was the Alexis. Yeah, I think it was the Alexis. I think so. So the same year where the mass shooting from a Target individual, that's when I started working there, which is another thing to look at. But they try to change the reality. These people are responsible. These people are responsible for what happened to me, what's happening to me, and today these people around me try to change reality. They even try to say, you see, the year that started makes sense because they were waiting for 2013 and 14 to make them move because what you did when you were 13, 14. Oh my goodness. My thought process are this mentally challenged. And you're going to hear what they do. They confuse and distort reality so much so. And they find ways to try to confuse the target individual. And the target individual, do not let yourself go. They're going to try to make you read into things certain ways, try to get you to think in these mysticful ways. No. For me, it's that simple. I'll start working for this entity, for this organization in 2013-14. They put me in this program. The whole process started. They started trying to find things they can use to vilify me. Now, when I was a child in middle school, in 8th grade, they tried to use that. For my child, my child act as a child in middle school, which I was 13, 14 in 8th grade, and tried to use that. I was like, oh, now we're gonna use, it's so nasty. And of course, they were prepping for this thing to happen, where my brain would be altered in these disgusting ways. Of course, the pedophilia type of torture was gonna be applied. This is something they do to almost all target individuals. Where they're going to put in a program where they clearly torture children and women, where people lose their mind, cause mass shootings, where actually in the same location, that place, there was a woman called Lisa Baker testifying about what's happening to. There's a lot of people in that area. Well, sorry, during the same time, there is testimonial for people from that region as target individual. So I know these entities have fully connection to that. I have no doubt. And I don't think, by the way, I'm the only one from that company who became a target individual. Because I remember when I was working there, there's a guy there that they didn't want to talk too much about. And the person who put me in this program was mentioning him in this fashion, like he had like Alzheimer's and something. But he was like weird about it. I was like, well, okay. And I was like, Now I realize, okay, this perhaps was another target visual. So I know who's out here killing me, who killed me. And destitution, that's what he wanted from me. That's what is happening to me. He's the reason why I'm going to be destitute when I get destitute. That's the reason why I'm going to be sick when I get. That's the only. He's the. Without this person, this company, if I didn't work at that company, I will never be here. The same company that is so on the certain side of this politics that you can't get an abortion in Texas. You're gonna hear at the end here. Actually, you're gonna hear the a conversation I had with one of the manager, because at the end I was tired. I was like, what's going on here? I got so sick there. I lost so much weight. I had to quit. I didn't get sick because I was being heated by dark energy. They were gaslighting me so much, pushing me into insanity, and everybody around me was like just acting weird. And I was like, let me just figure out. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear this conversation. Today, if I'm sick, it's because they're hitting me with direct energy to get me sick. If I'm unhealthy, it's because they destroy my organs with this technology. Everything that I'm experiencing today is no longer organic. I don't even have real stress. Because at this point I've accepted reality. They even create anxieties that force my heart to beat faster. To make it seem like I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm not even nervous. You make it. Everything is altered. And to add the cherry on top of everything, now I know these entities behind this. I know it's the Department of Defense. They've been working on this for years. I know this organization has all kind of connections through all this, all through the governments, from intelligence community people, from military, and first I have zero doubt. Now they try to change that, but it's too late. I've made videos since 2020. Before I even start working here, where they now try to present themselves as like, oh no, it's because I asked you this to do. No, trash. No, you participated, but your participation was not a need. You didn't. Your participation was absolutely not your need. You had incentives. You enjoyed the incentive, but this is the reason why I'm destitute. Now, whatever you participated, it's like you just jumped in something that was already happening. Like a train that was moving or something that was moving already, you just jumped in. Okay, come in. But it's already gone. And the reason why it's going is because these people over there had this going. Now, reality is this. Listen to me talking to this ex-manager of mine. Asking, what's going on here? What is going on? Listen. Small petty things makes no sense. It doesn't. I won't be as productive and impactful, and accept criticism without feeling there's something behind it, or there's some. I just wanna. I'm okay. I like to be critiqued because that's how you get better. But when I feel like there's something behind it, there's something that's just, then you become defensive. I know I've accomplished a lot here at this point. So you clearly hear, and I know the volume is not the highest, and this is a recording of me right before I decided to quit from the place that put me in this program. This is, I guess, 2018 or so. At that point, I was just too tired, and I talked to my manager, and of course, you can see I'm trying to figure out what is going on here. Why is this happening to me here? What is going on? Is it, and I was trying to figure it out, right? Now, of course, I'm aware of what was happening. They put me in this program, and this program, that's what you're going to hear. I know who's responsible for me being put in a program where they destroyed the life of the individuals involved in this, put in this program. I'm now a test subject. I know the governmental entities behind this, how long they've been working on. But in fact, it's funny. The year before I just started, not even a few months perhaps before I started working at this company, that's when the Washington mass shooting in Washington. I forgot where. What was it? It was in Washington. Yeah, in Washington D.C. when the man Alexis killed 12 people. A few months after that, I started working at this company. A few months after, maybe 2 after that my shooting. Then shortly they put me in this program that just caused a mass shooting a few months back that killed 12 people. So for me, I have to stay strong, understanding who, if I'm going to be angry toward the responsibles, the people responsible for my death and my sufferings, it's going to be these people that you just heard me talk to. This trash here are just the low life. They're the bottom feeders. They just compromise themselves towards somebody there, that was already dying. And these are the perps. They're just the, my anger toward them is just anger toward like the nobodies. Right? It's like you're at war, right? And they're not at war, but like imagine there's like a war going on, right? Or let's just say that there's like a mob or some kind of group of people attacking you. Those foot soldiers, the nobodies that do the harm things. You shouldn't be mad at them. It's because they're in this gang or whatever it is that does these things. So you should be mad toward the people who put you in this situation. So that's the way I look at these bottom feeders here. I see them as just the trash. The more I forget about them easily, then they're nobodies, right? They're truly not the true responsibles of what's happening to me. Matter of fact, what they're trying to do is they try to create grandeur in regard of what happened to me. In the sense that they want to take responsibility when I know it's not them. They just actually want to distort the reality that these people you just heard, who are top donors, even today, of very one-sided of things. You can easily find what they're doing in this country. They're nobodies, definitely not. Their influences are very well felt. And I'm here, what you heard there is me in their headquarters talking to my manager. So I'm never going to let this low life, however my brain is being manipulated to recreate reality in this fashion. I know who put me in this program. I was able to articulate that early on in 2020. Today, because I'm employed by these new people who, after my target individual, after even this video was made, they will try to reconstruct reality that they're the one responsible for my destitute. It's like, no, it was going to happen regardless. You just participated. You just joined in something that was going to happen already. But they want me to think, oh no, no, you just took participation, but it was happening. It was an ongoing thing. You chose to go join in, to enjoy the incentives, to at the same time try to utilize that as a way to kind of distort reality. But I'm here to prove reality, and reality has been very, very reality has been not good to them. Because these people who put me in this program, at least they didn't. The V2K started right after I stopped working there. I stopped working there because things were happening around me. I didn't know what was going on. But on August 19, 2019, they took it to another level when the Voice to Skull started. When the Voice to Skull started, okay, opened my eyes, okay, this is what's happening. But I was already going somewhere. They already put me in this program, and they were just kind of building up till then. And I think they were the smart one because they don't have to be the one looking stupid. Because today, these people out here that I'm working with or they're around me are supposed to block so much of reality. At this point, I've heard the testimonials of what they do. You're going to hear it. I'll put that, what you're going to hear next. That's what I put in their faces every day. Every day. For me, they're like, no, but you remember when you were kids, and I was like, imagine these people involved in a program where literally children are being tortured, and they talk about me as a child, and try to act like there's this severe punishers, when the truth is they're severely punishing 7-year-old kids, 4-year-old kids, 5-year-old kids, 3-year-old kids, 3-week-old. You're gonna hear the most disgusting part of it all, to try to make me think that they're punishers, right? Avengers. One of the perp have the audacity to say, I was abused. You know what she's trying to say? These people have no shame. Now, maybe she can say that just to create that stress and this annoyance, right? She can easily do that. I know these people have no shame. They can say that because they know, oh, he's going to be mad. We want to give him some emotions and reaction. But for me, true or not, you think I'm going to let people involved in what you're going to hear? Because clearly she knows that this program she's involved in torture children. And clearly she knows that entities that contract this shit that she is have problem with pedophilia. Then clearly they do some horrible thing and clearly are rewiring the brain. They are altering men and women's brain in the pedophilia-centric way, which clearly is, you're going to hear that. And they clearly try to find the ways. They just want me to look at them in this fashion. Because let me just say this. I know these people have they have compromised their own children. They're going to use their own children to frame me. And they want to be like, oh, we're going to do that because what you did as a child. And then they're going to rape you. This trust utilize rape to torture women. They torture children sexually. They're participating in the evil of evil. They work for governmental entities with pedophilia that is consistently an issue. And they wanted to look at them, that these people somehow, in this environment they're in, are protecting children, are avenging children. You see, now I added this picture there. Just imagine, I'm involved in a program that clearly does horrible things to children. Clearly does some of the evil of the evil. I know I'm involved in that. I'm very conscious of it. I partake in that. I partake in a program that does that. I say, oh, you know what? When I was a child, I was abused in whatever shape or form they want to create. Let me join a program where that clearly harmed the most vulnerable. And then I look at this man and to try to deflect reality, by the way. This is not, she's saying that because she wants to deflect, because clearly you know the entity that put me in this program. You hear me talking to a manager. These people is the reason why they can say Roy Moore in this open way. So now I involve myself in a program that tortures children and women. I want to present myself as an avenger, a protector, but I'm a true low-life, actually working for governmental entities that have done so much horrible things to children and women. I don't even care if they have even experienced doing that to children and women, but you are connected and you're involving yourself in that. You clearly do. Every day I put that in their faces. Every day they try to deflect that. That's the life they live in. If I was abused as a child and I involve myself in a program that abuse and torture children, and I deflect every time they bring up the testimonies of what they do to children, and I look at this man or woman, an adult man or woman, and say, what you did as a child, that was abuse, and having to exaggerate that. Having to exaggerate what a child did to create a level that's extreme, to hype yourself up, to make yourself angry while still involved in a program that clearly tortured children and women. And then say, no, but I was abused. You're abused involved in a program that tortured children, and then you try to exaggerate what a man or woman did when they were children to create this avenging feeling. You're deluded trash. For me, I will never let this low life live their fantasy. And I know why they're doing this, because they try to deflect the reality of what they are. Now I know my life is done because this organization that put me in this program destroyed me. But I will never look at this low life that today are using their children to frame me. And these children are trying to hype themselves up and say, you know what? If something happened to me, I was like, so I'm trash. Something happened to you, and now you're involved in something that tortured children. They were trying to, at one point, to make it seem like they're avenging for what I did as a child. Let's just say her name is Cynthia. We're doing it for Cynthia. She wants justice. Trash us. I'm friends with her on Instagram now. She's living her life, enjoying her life. So now they're making it about themselves. It's like, me, when I was a kid and something happened to me, it's like, I don't care, excuse me, I don't care about these bottom feeders involved in the program where they torture children, about what has happened to them as a kid. True or not, I know they can make it up, but even if it was true, why do I care about that? What do you have to do with me? But I know what you have to do with this program that tortures children. You're just an opportunist that try to find a way to hype yourself up. Because you compromise. And you're going to get yours. Because you're not avenging. You're an opportunist. You're not avenging for Cynthia. You just want to enjoy what you're part of. And live this deluded reality because you're involved in a program that torture children and you work for governmental entities that clearly have issues with pedophilia. And they still try to present themselves as feminists because the entity that put me in this program, not the entity, the organization that put me in this program, where these entities with issues with child porn and pedophilia, which you're going to hear, are so conservative, are so on the conservative side that they donate money, a lot of money, not only to abortion right to be ending. Oh no, not only that, there are some of the top donors there, but they donated money to men who, after the allegations of doing something to kids, as young as 14 years old, when he was an assistant DA. And they still want me to be, no, it's our money, or this fierce company. Matter of fact, something happened to me as a child. So that's why you pay now, you piece of trash. Target individual, please do not let this low life go into that fantasized reality they put together. They have no shame. It could be completely created. I don't care. But even if it's true, this has nothing to do with you. You are involved in something that clearly tortures children. You try to present yourself as this avenger. When you clearly torture children, and then you try to pretend like you're doing it for Cynthia, knowing that she's living her life, doing her thing, it felt in that fashion. You try to play, oh my gosh, she's traumatized. No, the truth is she's living life. But they are involved in a program that literally traumatizes children. You're going to hear that. And not only children, but women. And the truth is they truly rewired the brain in this fashion. So on top of that, today, she's involved in a program where they literally condition the brain in these pedophilia ways. Can you imagine? Something happened to me as a child. And today as an adult, I'm involved in a program that altered the brain in these disturbing ways. And then you know what they say? Oh no, but we mapped it to you as a child. Remember what you did as a kid. Can you imagine you talking to an adult man or woman? They say, hey, remember what you did as a child? That yeah, we're making your brain as a child again. And they try to come up whatever way to put the things together in the fashion they put together. They try to make you accepting of these things. While working for grown men and women, governmental entities where pedophilia is such an issue that they created a bill called End National Defense Network Abuse Act in 2019, right before I started getting rewired in this ways where they mapped my brain as a child. This is going to end with them never living that fantasy. And on top of that, the magic thing about it all, they sold their own children to. Can you imagine? I have a kids, and I tell my kid, hey, my child, say that this man raped you. He needs to pay for what he did when he was a child. So say that this man raped you. What kind of trash low life are you? These people they are so disgusting. What is going to happen to them? What they deserve to happen to them is not something I can do or capable of doing. But they will get theirs. And I never let them live their fantasy. The way they've been altering the brain, you're going to hear it. There's nothing new to me, to what's happening to me. But they want me to identify with this manipulation and the facade they created to disorient me and distort the reality who put me in this program and what they do to people in this program that's consistently commonly done to others. Do they prefer type of torture? Check. So today when I see a baby, a child, a little girl, a little boy, whatever it is, little girl especially, they do the stimulations and they try to make me, now we're mapped in. I was abused. I was like, I'm sorry. I got a little bit emotional. But this low life have no shame. But thankfully, and I'm calming myself down. And I'm sorry, the agitation gets up, and that's because it just disturbs me to imagine somebody have no shame to that level. Because what you're going to hear is disgusting. You're going to clearly hear that the manipulation of the brain is you lies. They've been working on that since the 60s. They alter the brain in this fashion. They make you have these sexual stimulations. They make you have these reactions. They make you have these emotions. And it's clear. Then they have these tactics that they call pedophilia type of torture, which they force you to have this reaction to children specifically, to torment you. They even make you have dreams that are pedophilia centric. They're literally conditioning your brain, rewiring your brain in such a disgusting pedophilia ways. Then you hear what they do to women, the disgusting things. You're going to even see me with a mask saying this is happening to men, women, and children all around the world. And then you're going to hear women all around the world talk about what's happening to them. Then You're going to hear children being tortured in some of the most disturbing ways you can imagine. Then you're going to hear the mass shooting that even killed a child not too long ago because a target individual lost his mind. Then you're going to hear the entities that run this program that you clearly know are behind this. Those entities having a consistent issue with pedophilia. Then you're going to hear this man that they can't say the name, what he was allegedly doing to children. Trash. For me, I gotta be strong, and I gotta maintain my cool. But I can't wait to see this low life because I know what's awaiting for them is gonna be magical. They didn't live this fantasized reality. They're trash that needs to be revenged on, not by just what they do to me. Oh no. For what they involve themselves to be part of, and then try to present themselves as this is the most disgusting. To play the protector of children, the avenger of children, and then be involved in the program that literally torture children and even try to deflect from the torture. Never. I know my thing. I know I'm done. But I'm done knowing the reality of things. And this deluded trash, who knows when they're done, will never leave that fantasized reality. I'm so grateful and thankful that I had this moment where I could put this low life, this bottom feeders, the government on contract to implement these things. They try to disorient the reality of what they're part of, how they torture women, how they torture children, and on top of that, understanding that the people who actually finished me, destroy my life, are the same entities that donated money to men who are allegedly doing these things to children. It's so conservative when these trash are trying to play so feminist that you can't even have the right of getting an abortion even in some state like Texas. And still trying to make me think that their money and working for governmental entities that are so filled with pedophilia. And you're going to hear the nastiness they do to children, huh? No. That's what, next to that, you see me as, not me, you see a child in 8th grade. Because these people want me to let them go into that fantasized reality, block out what you're about to hear, how they torture babies, how they torture women, how they cause mass shooting, and how they rewire the brain, and how they try to disorient and distort reality, which you're going to hear. They try to make you think this is anything but this massive government doing this thing to people. Try to play the feminist, and then you hear a woman saying literally, there's a lot of females in this. No. I rather plague away, I rather waste away, I rather die in hell, but I never give them that fantasy. Never. Target individual, don't even allow them to live. Don't even allow them to live that fantasize. If she ever tried to do that in front of me, she knows how I'm going to react. She knows. She knows the first thing I'm going to think about is like all the children they've done. She knows. Now listen. Listen to the obvious things of what they do. Target individuals, stay strong.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day. Human mind can be altered. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. Innocent citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments. Is Cheryl Welsh telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove. Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welsh and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is a greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify back to the Korean War. In fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems and being able to not just debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain. Wow. HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based on Alaska radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Matthew says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response, the brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain, and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just to be about triggering emotions. You can change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts, and being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
Can we hear sounds?
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
With external fields of all kinds. For radio frequency, you can look at the Radio Frequency Dosimetry Handbook, 1986, University of Utah, produced for the Air Force. It gives you the resonant frequencies for each vital organ so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause them to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level. Not with bullets and bombs. It's a perfect Republican weapon. No offense to Republicans here, but you don't want to destroy the property. You're going to have to rebuild it afterwards. This is a weapon systems of the 21st century. It's the very beginning of it in a lot of ways, but the research goes back over 50 years.
My name is Dr. John Hall. I'm a medical doctor from Texas. As I understand the memorandum from the President, it's for you to determine if current legislation is adequate in protecting individuals and if there's any ongoing experimentation. In reviewing the common rule, it's very obvious that there's a lot of loopholes to informed consent. All of the horrific experiments you've mentioned, Willowbrook, MK Ultra, radiation experiments, mostly were done without informed consent. They were funded by the DOD and intelligence agencies, where I'm not even so sure you would know if there's an IRB, much less if an IRB is looking at informed consent. As a physician, relative to some of what you're hearing today, in the community, we are seeing an alarming rate of complaints of use of electromagnetic weapons, microwave auditory effects, silent sound spectrum, EEG cloning, which has taken the lab out of the laboratory and into the home. Most of these, from the research that we reviewed, can be done remotely. It seems to be more weapons research than medical research. I personally corresponded with upwards of 1,500 victims, all complaining of identical complaints from every state in the nation of being exposed to electromagnetic radiation, non-ionizing radiation for the use of cognitive control or behavior control. I've submitted a paper to you, and there's another paper submitted to each member from another physician in Kansas City, alluding to the same thing.
You do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they used it, I believe, in the Gulf War. You can call it a eugenics program. But also walk them to their, they want to see if they can hyper game theory. How do you, they want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people don't believe that, but you can't control me. I have my own free will.
V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just
it is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do that here. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa.
They use these monarch-style torture programs, like it's based on sex and trauma. So they're gonna traumatize you. They're gonna use your libido to get back at you, and
This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal.
is what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and form of torture. They coordinate the voice. I really mean extreme. I experienced an entire night with forced spontaneous orgasms repeatedly all through the night, one right after another, with maybe around 1 hour of sleep or so, as I lay immobilized in my bed.
In my mind, I can hear my own voice. I told them I'm going to make you pay for all of the years of torture that I've taken, and all you are going, me and my family. Then said this, the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing. And then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals. When I aggravated them I able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes.
You might guess that this person developed delusional disorder. This is a paranoid schizophrenia. But first of all, nobody develops paranoid schizophrenia in the 50s, in their 50s. This is, if you haven't developed it by 30, it's not. Then this technology exists. These nefarious programs exist. And it's hard to imagine for a person that why would you do something like this? But if you think about the new type of warfare, exactly, it's a cognitive warfare. You don't have to kill people that you are fighting against. You can just degrade their brain. You can
you alter their minds.
Yeah, alter their minds,
personalities,
and it's like Chinese torture. I mean, okay, so.
So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personalities, and information curves. Satanic ritual. Okay, so they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's. So they'll say we're the V2K. So they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
It's already being used. I mean,
if you talk to the victims, the TIs, one of the worst breakdowns, and it's pretty common. I think I can say the word simulated rape. And forced orgasm.
You can say anything you want. This is the internet.
Okay. And so simulated orgasms and rape is extremely common.
Right.
Especially violating for women. They complain about that torture breakdown the most.
vibrate. I can barely hold a piece of paper without quivering. Does that answer your question?
I'm trying to find what's the source of
The source of these exotic weapons. They talk about in 2970 that if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing. And you, our Defense Department, we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women. So next speaker. Hello, my name is Kimberly Buckner, and I have been a targeted individual for a very long time. The things I have experienced due to being targeted, they have been unreal. But however, I can personally attest that this is very real indeed. My life has been destroyed in every possible way, and every day has been a struggle for me. I'm very grateful to be before you today due to Amy Anderson's due diligence and to everyone else involved. I thank you, council members, for giving us targeted individuals a chance to speak and to be heard. And I pray that these atrocities will soon be brought to an end. But we need your help. Thank you. Alex.
Military medical research. I too believe my experience is referred to as no-touch torture, utilizing defense technologies. Jonathan Marino, he basically predicted all this a number of years ago in his book Undue Risk. I'm asking you to help initiate a congressional investigation. We've all come a long way. This is what is needed. We want to have the accounts of this extreme human rights abuse that's going on in our country documented and heard, all of the accounts. We also need what was done during the Clinton administration, which is a major declassification of some of these documents that are hiding what's been going on. I speak for many when I say we've suffered long enough. My personal experience has been 10 years. I've been vilified. I've been ostracized. I've been tortured. I have burns on my body. I'm an American. I have rights. The answer to the question, the big question today, could it happen today? The answer is yes. It is happening today. It is happening for some of us every day. I am begging for you to help us. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Crawford. I'm here from the state of Michigan. I wanted to speak about biotechnology applications being utilized on my person. I have medical reports showing eye damage being done to my eyes. My eyes does not have a mirror image. I also have nano wiring inside my eyes. I have pictures of the actual implants from the eye doctor. Once enlarging the nano implants, you will see a copy of the actual particles in my eyes. I have CAT scans, MRIs, and PETs showing wiring, nano wiring in my head. This is my brain. It's straight from the right side to the left side of my head. I also have implants in my chin, in the chin region on both sides. One side shows a wire, the other side shows the actual implant. Implant particle devices coming down through here. Projectiles of the nanoparticles on the side of my head. Enlarged pictures.
these crimes is happening in America. This is a domestic problem, not only international. The victims is not being just victimized individually. We are being victimized and our family members as well. Gang stalking tactics and harassment was utilized to implement us into this program unconsensually.
Leslie, I think your comments reinforce much of what we've heard. And if you don't mind, I'd like to make room for others at the microphone now, since it seems to be reinforcing. Juan, I ask you to pick somebody's gentleman right here. I'm sorry, who's been waiting? Oh, yeah, please.
My name is Eugenia Durden.
I'm sorry, Eugenia?
Eugenia Durden, yes. Everything I've heard from this commission and this panel about ethics, they were mostly talk about pharmaceuticals research, but I haven't heard anyone talking about a psychotronic weapon research or bioelectromagnetic weapon research. Who in this panel are familiar with the psychotronic weapon? Raise your hand, please. Who of you know about psychotronic weapons? Any one of you? Psychotronic bioelectromagnetic weapons. Are you familiar with that?
Not at all.
No? Okay. In this audience, is anybody familiar with a psychotronic weapon? Okay, the audience is familiar with that, and I think that in order for a panel or a commission to be able to help this problem and this issue, we'll have to have more knowledge on what psychotronic weapons are. I am physically leashed from my neck to the electromagnetic power of one of the weapons that is being used against me. I get tortured day and night. At night is with nightmares and all kinds of dreams that I don't want in my head. And throughout the day is my body. They fraud with my neurological system, so they do anything to my body. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes.
My name is Dr. John Hall.
In a way, I'm very sorry to address you like this because I think that what you're doing is very admirable. But I'm here to represent this other group, and I'm also targeted, and this is my story. My name is Sandra Field. I'm an architect, recipient of Who's Who of Women in America Achievement Award, and have run a successful business for over 28 years. My life and livelihood have been compromised for the last 11 years by being attacked by electromagnetic radiation torture and by organized stalking. I cannot live in my rent-stabilized apartment in New York City as a result of this torture. I'm currently staying in hotels and student houses in the last year. Thousands of Americans are currently suffering from chemical, electromagnetic, psychological, and physical torture with no government relief or laws. Our servicemen, prisoners, and thousands of unknowing, innocent civilians are currently being lamed, tormented, and tortured as a result of military research, medical research, pharmaceutical research, physiological and psychological studies that have virtually destroyed participants' sanity, physical well-being, reputation, and privacy.
And the plan is that Mr. Juan Chuck back here will be has the list of folks that will be offering comment, and maybe the thing to do is to just dive into that. I want to remind you before we do that the commission, of course, is charging it on the topic of Ms. Cassandra Lewis. Hi, Ms. Lewis.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Cassandra Lewis, and I'm a targeted individual from Baltimore, Maryland. My story may sound disjointed. I'm trying to keep it within the minute and a half. I worked as a legal secretary at Hogan & Hartson in Washington, D.C. It is now called Hogan Lovells. Attorney Jan McDavid made a client mistake that she tried to blame on me. I then refused to work for Ms. McDavid. Shortly thereafter, strange and inexplicable events occurred on my job, and after being fired, followed me to my home and to all my travels. Attorney Christopher J. Hagan, formerly of Hogan and Hartson, Mr. Samuel Conrad, he's a retired security administrator of Hogan and Hartson, and Robert Johnston, who's the current firm administrator of Hogan Lovells, are responsible for my targeting. I believe to protect Ms. McDavid's reputation, a phone call was made to whom and why they did this to me. I truly just speculate. Gang stalking and harassment was used to implement this non-consensual biotechnology application that is being used on me. I now experience involuntary limb movements. I receive stingings. I get pains to my head, to my abdomen, to my vaginal area, and to my anal area. I am receiving...
Mrs. Marshall?
Good afternoon. My name is Connie Marshall. I'm a former mayoral candidate from Louisville, Kentucky. I have never been involved in any criminal activity. I found a document in my bank account that said, problem with Kentucky government, check federal government paperwork and file before releasing information to anyone. I am an 8-year victim survivor of assaults by directed energy weapons. The torture I've experienced consists of body overheating, body extremely cold, seizures, heart pain, earaches, itching behind eyes, burning behind eyes, swelling, headaches, involuntary movement of my limbs, exhaustion, speeding and heart racing, hair coming out by the handfuls as if I've had chemotherapy, mind paralysis, being hypnotized or placed in a trance-type state, being tracked by a drone or satellite, controlled dreams, sleep deprivation, V2K, which is voice to skull, projected sound, extreme muscle spasms, and extreme muscle cramps, being made to fall down, blue circles around the pupils of my eyes, and I'm here and you can look at them if you like. Low frequency noises in my home, high frequency noises in my home, sexual stimulation. Numerous electrical appliances in my home are destroyed. 4 computers, 2 fax machines, 7 telephones, 4 CD players, VCR, DVD players, electrical igniter switch on my furnace, washer and dryer, air conditioner. Also my car radio, CD player, and engine were destroyed. I am watched in my home 24 hours a day and followed around everywhere I go, though I do not have a criminal history. When I ran for mayor of my town, I was also attacked at debates and forums. My website is www.justiceforallcitizens.com. Thank you. And I would like to leave these flyers with you all as well.
Perverted, involving many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me. This includes many different types of zaps to varying degrees to the genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past 3 years now. When severe, the zaps to the genitals feel as though someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also experience what is referred to as anything electronic. They have even locked me out of my office building that uses an electronic key. It is often very difficult and an immense battle just to even sit on the toilet to go to the bathroom. not only because of the bowel and bladder manipulation, but also because of the frequent severe sexual assaults on the genitals, my butt and anus, shaking, vibrating, and rocking my body back and forth, and forced eyeball movements, and phantom touch sensations doing rubbing sensations, etc.
But I was going to be shot in the face. And it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, you should be shot in the face. You know, it sounded like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is, with the voice of skull, it's a bunch of females. You know, and I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would soften of the female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they think it's something wrong with them?
So yesterday I went to the beach and drank a couple of beers and just sat down there after laying in bed and sobbing for 2 hours because the private parts of my body were being burned and my breasts removed. And just the trauma from it. Just not being able to cope with the pain and the emotional trauma that comes from someone harming me using, I guess, remote medical technology is my best guess. I went and saw a dermatologist. Hey, I just woke up after a pretty rough night. The same thing happened last night as the night before, which was whenever I was trying to go to sleep, the private parts of my body began being burned again, and it felt like someone pushing out stream. I can feel it's going to be the same again today. Already on the harming of the private parts of my body. I don't really know what to do.
Okay.
Our country,
Pictures. Genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past 3 years now. When severe, the zaps to the genitals feel as though someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also experience what is referred to as mellow. Anything electronic. They have even locked me out of my office building that uses an electronic key. It is often very difficult and an immense battle just to even sit on the toilet to go to the bathroom. Not only because of the bowel and bladder manipulation, but also because of the frequent severe sexual assaults on the genitals, my butt and anus, shaking, vibrating, and rocking my body back and forth, and forced eyeball movements, and phantom touch sensations doing rubbing sensations, etc.
But I was going to be shot in the face. And it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, you should be shot in the face. You know, sound like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is, with the voices go, it's a bunch of females. You know, and I'm like, bro.